You know, we're finding more and more out about how Black people in general are paying a lot more in this society for many things. Is it far fetched for us to believe that Black colleges are paying way more for loans? No, it's definitely believable in America. So this came out in NPR. Graduates of historically Black colleges may be paying more for loans, watchdog group. So this came out February 5th, 2020 on NPR. And I'm going to go ahead and play this 3-minute audio.
Excited to hear more how I built this? Click listen or add to playlist now to hear excerpts from some of our favorite episodes with the founders of Bonobos, Chicken Salad Chick, and Slack. Support for How I Built This comes from NPR's 2020 lead sponsor Comcast, serving businesses across the country with fast, reliable internet. Learn more at comcastbusiness.com. Comcast Business, beyond fast. People who graduated from historically Black or predominantly Hispanic colleges might be paying more to borrow money because of where they went to school. That's according to a new report from a financial watchdog group. NPR's Chris Arnold got an advance copy of that report.
A lot more people these days are getting loans from a new breed of lenders known as fintechs, or financial technology firms. And some of these lenders factor in where you went to college.
It really raised some alarm flags.
Kat Welbeck is the civil rights counsel at the nonprofit Student Borrower Protection Center. Her group decided to run a test. They chose a fintech lender called Upstart. You get a loan offer off its website, and they applied for dozens of loans online, posing as a 24-year-old man. They said he lives in New York, makes $50,000 a year.
The only difference was where he went to school.
They applied as if he went to NYU in New York, a bunch of other schools, and Howard University,
one of the most famous historically Black colleges and universities in this country. And we looked at what would a borrower from Howard, what would they see if they applied for this type of loan?
And then they compared, and they found that if you went to NYU versus Howard for a $30,000 personal loan with a 5-year term, they found you'd pay about $3,500 more in interest and fees if you went to Howard, a historically Black college.
There's no other difference between these two borrowers other than the fact that one attended NYU and one attended Howard.
The group found you'd also pay more if you went to New Mexico State, which has a high percentage of Hispanic students. In a new report called Educational Redlining, the group says lenders may be discriminating based on what college you attended. We reached out to Dave Gerard, the CEO of Upstart.
We definitely appreciate the intent.
Gerard used to be a senior executive at Google and founded Upstart, he says, to use technology to make credit more available. Upstart, he says, goes way beyond looking at your credit score. There are more than 1,000 factors.
I mean, we're a company that our entire mission, the reason we get out of bed every morning is to improve access for affordable credit. So we are absolutely supportive of the intent that credit shouldn't be biased or unfair in any way.
But Gerard says basically the test the nonprofit group ran doesn't prove that using education as a factor leads to discrimination.
Using, hypothetical, contrived applicants for a loan who aren't real people was, both anecdotal and not reflective of the real world. And, we're a company that has tested for fairness and bias over millions of applicants. And that's our approach to ensuring that our platform isn't biased against anybody.
Still, the report raised the eyebrows of some legal experts. Todd Baker teaches a course on fintech at Columbia University's law school. He says the traditional credit score approach to lending has its own problems and biases, and some fintech lenders' alternative approaches can help.
Using alternative data can be highly beneficial, but also has dangers. And we need to be very vigilant that we don't recreate some of the problematic practices of the past unintentionally.
Advocates are increasingly worried that casting such a wide net for data to make decisions introduces biases in new and different ways. Welbeck says her group is pushing for better oversight and more transparency from fintech companies. Chris Arnold, NPR News.
And now more from NPR.
Sounds like the usual racism to me. So if you go to an HBCU and somebody goes to NYU, the example they were giving, you pay $3,500 more. You know, you got to look at who's running the firm. That pretty much should answer your question right there. You know, attorneys really should be able to beat this one in a court of law very easily. You know, based on location, you have to pay more money. That's garbage. That's complete garbage. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know, these folks are calling themselves a new breed of lenders. It sounds look like the old same racism that we see all the time. You know, just go down here. You know, in a new report called Educational Redlining, the group says lenders may be discriminating based on where loan applications went to college. Why should somebody be penalized for that? I mean, seriously, what would be the reason for discriminating against someone based on the college they attended? You know, and why would you look to penalize people for that reason? For its part, Upstart seems to welcome the vigilance. And, you know, I don't know. I don't see how you can talk this up, ladies and gentlemen. I really think the students that are paying $3,500 more need to challenge this in court. This is a good court case for them to take these financial groups that are doing these type of practices to court so they can stand there and justify why people that went to HBCUs have to pay more money for these student loans than folks that went to non-HBCU schools. Wow. Nonprofit report also raises questions about Wells Fargo for offering better interest rates and loan terms for borrowers of four-year colleges than those who attended two-year community colleges. Even with identical credit profiles, community college borrowers would pay a higher price for credit than students at four-year institutions, the report says. Wells Fargo said in a statement that it disagrees with the study's characteristics. Wells Fargo has a long-standing commitment to providing access to financing for students attending community colleges, the bank said. But you know what? Wells Fargo really got all kinds of problems. You know, let's start with your employees calling the police on Black people. You know, work on that, Wells Fargo. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. You know, although I'm not surprised, I do feel for these young people today because when it comes down to student loans, it is ridiculous to get all of this education and you automatically end up in debt because of the astronomical cost of going to college in America. And at the end of the day, you're just being lied to at a higher institution in America. Really, that's all you're doing. But please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.